Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Brian and the Crazy Crypto Kids. Woohoo! Wait a minute, that's not what the hell's the name of this show? TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review, Episode 15. Dun dun dun. In tonight's episode, we find out if Janie will pass her midterm exams. Is Bobby going to be found out for stealing from the church coffers? Is Betty's affair with the milkman going to be revealed? We'll find out tonight, folks. Stay tuned. Brought to you by the good people at Zide Laundry Detergent. If one thing is absolutely could be guaranteed of, there probably will never be a corporate sponsor of one of my crazy rants. Hey, there's Nick. Yeah, I don't know if you heard. Nick's joined me here tonight. Say good evening to all the folks. Nick?
Good evening, everybody. And for one, I'm personally fine with Brian and the Crazy Crypto Kids.
That'd be kind of a cool, when I was a kid, there was a really popular cartoon, Josie and the Pussycats. That was such a cool cartoon. Anyway, so we've got Nick here tonight. The other two of our cohorts, they're MIA this evening. Derek, best wishes, loved ones feeling a bit under the weather. And I think Ben's just lazy, but I don't know, who knows. Just kidding.
That's what we'll go with lazy tonight.
I don't know what was his excuse. Oh, mom's dead. Sorry. Just kidding. That'd be awful if that was the case. My apologies, Ben, if it's something dear to your heart. But great, we've got Nick here, and actually, I told Nick this is fantastic for him. He's basically got an hour or so just to pick my brain, almost consider this like a 2-hour tutorial. I think he sent me off on a rant one time. One of these times, asking me about the U.S. dollar or something along those lines. So I think that was great edutainment for everybody. So let's see. Who knows where Nick's going to take us this evening? So anyway, strap on your seatbelts. I just moved operation. Moved in with one of my OGs. I've known Andrew locally here, since the last cycle. In fact, I got to know him right at the top of the last cycle, and watched him mature as a trader, and also a person to the point where. I think we can actually make a really cool trading environment here locally for Vancouver. So a lot of local TRIers. We also have the invite open to them. And I think Andrew's going to have his poker buddies over here. Try and teach them how to trade a bit. So we should have a lot of fun here. We got a house in Vancouver, which is crazy enough unto itself. Actually in Burnaby, just outside of Vancouver. And we're getting set up here. Now, the audio might sound a little funny. I haven't put up any artwork or anything on the walls yet, but just going through the process of getting moved in. Can't remember, did we do a show last week, or did we miss it when I was moving? I don't know. I mean, I've been in such a fog over the past week or two.
We skipped last week.
Yeah, do you know, man, I missed one hell of a good trade set up there. And if anything, this is a great lesson to everybody. Penny wise and pound foolish. I see a lot of people in the trading world make this mistake with regard to things like working with full service brokers and discount brokers. But I think you could make an argument that I pulled a penny wise, pound foolish stunt here with trading. Over the course of the latter part of basically September here, is nothing but down, and it's just a pain in the ass to the point where it just lulls you to sleep. And then, and the irony of it all is my rule is, hunt W's on other sides of trend lines, and so here come all these W's, and of course I'm hip deep in my move here, right literally on moving day. Thank you very much. The goddamn market takes off. And this is just about everything that I teach at TRI. And actually even modules that I haven't even put together. I used to trade RSI years ago off of this kind of concept where if you can get and I just noticed this now. It's so funny. But if you can get a big fat W to come in through the 50 line here, wow, is that ever a bullish signal? And sure enough, how many movers could I have hired with, just strapping on some simple leveraged product here? Hell, I suppose even just buying one Bitcoin. What is that? It's like a 25% move there. But no, Brian's got to be a cheap ass. I don't want to spend $500 on movers. I'll move myself. Bust my ass. 50 years old. Last thing in the world I should be doing is bending over backwards with the furniture. And look at the rally I missed. And what's even worse, and I even tweeted it out, is the Ethereum rally was even more dramatic. Oh, Jesus. It was nice to see that, through this event, a lot of names that we had been accumulating through this summer and through the the latter part of the spring, when after Mr. Doge did his thing, these kind of names I was accumulating through the summer, I guess, right? I guess June, July. I mean, what a beautiful example of everything that we teach at TRI. I gotta say, Ben, this was absolutely textbook rallies. The good part about it is if you actually put yourself into a position where you can take advantage, and you've already bought, all I got to do is just make damn sure I've got my open orders working. And sure enough, this one was a nice treat. While I was moving, I got a really nice fill on that. Beautiful trade, just absolutely beautiful. And of course, TRI principal, our CTO, Sjord, his network, Do Kwon network, and actually I was really surprised. A gentleman that was actually part of TRI for a long time, Nacho Don, and he tried to enlighten me a little bit. He got a shout out by that Do Kwon gentleman. And Julian said, "Hey, I might be able to get Nacho Don on the TRI show." And I think he also wants to have it as like a public show. So maybe if you're watching in the public, you're watching this later on, look out for that too. I was pretty impressed with that. So Julian's doing his baby powder report on Thursdays tomorrow. I don't know. Might have Nacho John. That might be weeks down the road. Who knows? But anyway. Long and short of it here, Sjord's a big fan of this Luna idea, and of course, Sjord's getting paid nicely, so way to go, Sjord, way to go. A lot of TRIers made some really good money on this idea. So not only did Sjord help his own pocketbook, but I think people on the site think he walks on water now, so which is always nice. I tell you, in this kind of market, it's awfully tough to find stuff that I actually think you could buy. Just because a lot of stuff has moved up so much. And also, too, we're not really in the best trade location for a lot of stuff. But there was actually something that I bought today. I'll tell you, who knows? Probably laying totally flat on its face. But I noticed that Alex Stirk's little idea, which is, I think, nothing more than just an Ethereum clone. What the hell is that damn thing? The Ubic, it was perking up nicely here recently. Good looking setup there. Nice divergence. I don't know whether it has legs or not, but if this thing ever gets going, holy moly, it's ridiculous amounts of money to be made here. Look at that. That's nuts. And at some point it will. This is just the way crypto is. I think these guys got a pretty good reputation. But actually a name that's in their wheelhouse. And, I've got plenty of this on the books, and I like the story so much that when I see a half-decent technical setup, man, I just get so excited. I saw this develop this morning, and I was just like, I gotta go buy that. So I went and bought a whack more of this even today. So I mean, wow, what a move! Boom. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but damn, what a beautiful example of a bullish, confirmed bullish momentum divergence. Willie, nice and stupid. Keep in mind, this is a daily price chart. Willie, nice and stupid. Beautiful W's. I don't know what their plan is. I do know that, that this story, it's beautiful story. You go look at it yourself. Obviously, something's going on here. I mean, look at that momentum picture. That's ridiculous. I don't know whether you can chase that there, but damn, that's a big-ass W. So I don't know where the hell they're taking this. It's overdue. I mean, like I showed you there. I mean, when they ramp this thing, hi caramba, it goes crazy. So and we always say, right, the longer the channel, the bigger the run. So I was actually surprised. This is something that I could actually wrap my arms around here, and I went and bought some on the moving average breakout. So that might be it for the rally. It's going to be interesting to see how it acts at this 200 period moving average. But nonetheless, that's something I can wrap my head around. Not bad idea. Problem is, I mean, like, and this is what I'm a little worried about for, I have heard, like, there's a hell of a lot of enthusiasm for the DeFi space and all that. And I just wonder, I'm just a little bit concerned that there was a fantastic rally off the lows. Now where's that damn DeFi index? It's around here somewhere. There it is. But I don't know about that trade location. That's awfully tough. Suppose if you got the big volume surge like you saw out of that Geo. I mean, I don't even really like the look at this. Ugh, it's kind of wishy-washy. V bottom off the lows, so it's awfully tough for me to get excited. And I just wonder whether things got maybe just a little bit ahead of themselves there with I'm not really that hip on the lingo and the language and stuff. Of course, this is why I had the gentleman over the summer try and help me learn some of these new names and stuff. But I just wonder whether, I mean, it's been a hell of a run. Don't get me wrong. But, when I go through some of these names, I'm not actually like this Ave. We got to start seeing some higher highs and higher lows here. The dot, that's an M. Ooh, yuck. I don't know. A little skeptical here of the DeFi right at the moment. I don't know. Call me. Well, probably a worrywart. That's probably the best way to describe it. But I thought it was interesting. Like, I actually did buy something today, and I was excited about it. Also, too, I thought it was interesting as sort of a contrarian thing. We had a couple gentlemen who were TRIOGs. I don't know whether technically I'm ready to, call a bottom. I mean, you can see M's in these indicators and stuff. But, wow, location. There are some names in crypto that they brought this thing right back down to the bottom. This is an interesting one. This is kind of a vote on Simon Dixon. And we had some gentlemen on this site. OGs came on, did a presentation today, and told us a little bit about some of the names they're following. I don't know whether I'd really call that a technical buy. And, of course, this isn't really the best time of year for this. But maybe into the new year, might get some real cheap deals in there. So I am keeping my eyes open. W's that come in, great, awesome. And actually, I was really lucky. I got a nice double off. This is, one thing, especially the crypto kids. It doesn't matter. Anybody. What I like to do is I like to just listen and build a shopping list, and then just simply say, all right, this particular person who's pretty well respected in the space suggests is a half decent idea. How can I generate a risk-free trade, get some free coins on the books, and then just see where the hell this thing takes us? So I thought this is a fantastic example. This is basically everything that I do in a nutshell. Just, listen to people that know this space far better than I would. And I would suggest you all do the same thing too. I mean, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. This is Chico Crypto, courtesy of him, an idea. And then, how you're going to sneak in. I personally like this level, this 78.6. And I've told you guys this on these videos before. Quite often when I draw these fibs and I draw 78.6 and I can sneak in off of them, you look back in hindsight and you go, son of a gun, the darn thing bottom right off the 78.6. It just drives you crazy. So I was very happy when I saw that my fills coming in off this 78.6 turned out to be a big fat W. I mean, it's everything that we sort of, want to do as traders. And now, and then more importantly, I mean, with crypto, you never know what the hell any of this stuff's going to do. I do appreciate that, some stuff. One thing I do love about the youthful enthusiasm of crypto is the believers, they believe. No doubt about it. And, some of them will even go down with the ship with some of their ideas. But here's a situation where just a little bit of money management, just, you can see how easily an asset like this can double in price. So just a little bit of money management can just generate a risk-free trade. And I'm telling you, man, once you get into that risk-free trade, life is just so much easier. I mean, I don't even know. I don't think I can show it, but... actually, I suppose, Nick, you can probably see it in here. There I am. Actually, I'm, it's not really fair for me to have that conversation.
Yeah. Brian is sitting here. He's going to talk about his full head of hair that's no gray, and I am bald as a baby. Well,
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. You even mentioned that before.
No,
terribly rude of me.
I am very secure with my lack of hair. Don't worry.
But I just use it as an example that I try to keep as low stress in my life as possible. Well, it's terrible. I should shut the hell up. I'm blabbing away here, just digging a deeper hole. Shut the hell up. Let's move on. Anyway, point of the matter here is a little bit of half decent money management. Now I've got this risk-free trade, and it doesn't really matter what the hell's going to happen next. And I can't impart on you how important it is to get to this position. Because once you're in this position, you can't lose. And trust me, this game of trading and this game of investing, it is so easy to lose. So, gotta get yourself into a position where you can't lose. And even in this kind of position where I can't lose, because this is an unregulated space, there's gonna be some cocksucker that comes along and wants to steal my coins anyway. You still have the systemic risks of unregulated space. Even in this position of basically I can't lose. In crypto, you can still somehow lose. Anyway, it doesn't matter if you're flipping condominiums, if you're flipping stocks, if you're flipping crypto, you're flipping commodities. If you can, buy multiple lots and then sell half of the position when it doubles or sell a third when it triples. In fact, I think I even saw somebody on TRI said they sold a quarter on a quadruple today. Okay, I mean, what the hell? Especially with foggy boggy levels, I suppose so. But I just can't impart enough how important risk management is and money management and forcing yourself to get yourself into that risk-free trade as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And there's a good example. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I don't know whether it is of any value to, make any predictions. As I said there when we started off, I think I missed a hell of a damn good trade, but, shit happens. It's the way life goes. Next bus in 10 minutes. I don't know whether I'd really be interested in doing anything up top here. I was actually thinking that, hey, we were building a bit of a divergence here, so we better be careful here anyway. They went and blasted through this liquidity pool, so, I mean, as long as they keep making higher highs and higher lows, that's what defines a bull. And probably, the market structure guys, because we did break that high, my hunch is they're probably thinking pullbacks are now buying opportunities, looking for, usually the way these markets move, and you can kind of see it here, is they usually like to move in waves. And they usually like to move in, the harmonic guys call it the AB equals CD pattern. So that's a mouthful. Let's see what I got here. Boom. So that would probably be your AB. And as I said, if you want to just learn something about the markets tonight, get something free out of this. Trust me on this one. Markets love to move in this harmonic fashion where, maybe we don't take out this high. Maybe it's A, B, C, and then we rally up against this high, and then there's so much energy rejection, we get forced back down. But most times, and especially considering markets trend, 20-30% of the time, they range 70-80% of the time. But when they trend, they kind of move in this it's kind of like a stair step fashion. Probably this is the best one, where it's back and forth, and it's like a seesaw. The Wyckoff markup process. Institutions buy. They got pushing the price up. At some point, they sort of hand the ball off to the retail customer, and then they actually start selling to the retail customer the stuff that they bought down below. So there's kind of this passing off of, by the time we get to the end of the move, retail is now buying, institutions have actually sold into them, and then the retail just sort of runs out of purchasing power and the market starts to drift. And you might even find that the institutions, they bought, they sold, and they know the market's heavy. They might even short a bit just to drive it back down and see if they can punish all the late buyers. So then we go through the markdown process. Then we come back down against lows. And then the institutions start buying back the positions they bought here. And then the process starts all over again. Buying. Then the public comes in, buys the top of the market. Institutions are selling into that, blah, 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 blah. And that's sort of the way the market works its way higher. So, point of all that is, usually, if you see this kind of big one-directional push, odds are that's actually only half the move. So you can think of this sort of AB equals CD pattern. It's pretty typical. Also, too, some interesting low to high trend lines. It looks like we want to take a stab up top here as well. We could probably even do some chaos levels off of this consolidation. Probably also pointing up top there. I gotta tell you, man, I look back on that and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And I was just as tired when I saw this happen as Nick is right now, I bet. I mean, I was just exhausted. And they're just not in a place to trade at all. Anyway, check that out. So really interesting foggy boggy. Notice Mr. Bifurcation level right there. I might even write that down, 61,044. I think the market's telling you that's where it wants to go. So fascinating to see. Interesting how that almost lines up perfectly, right? A, B, C, D. So you can see that not only is foggy boggy going to be hit, this sort of low to high, especially through here, this nice swing low to that swing high, that trend line right up into that area, and it looks like there's some sort of key pivot level up there as well. Is that the old high? Oh yeah, that is the old high. Look at that. So they're going to take a serious run at that old high. Probably going to go after this liquidity pool up here. There's probably a ton of stop loss orders just sitting up there waiting to get doinked. So there you go. That's kind of what I think is going to happen here over the short term. Be curious to see what happens. We never did get Mr. Gann's 50% rule and 50% of the time. I mean, it actually came in way ahead of schedule. Maybe we get like some sort of sharp pullback here before we can go, because usually Mr. Gann gets satisfied, but it doesn't have to. I had it over. Nope, not that one. Oh, I guess it was this one. Yeah. So, and I suppose you'll know that this thing's run out of steam when we start emming out here. So it's interesting to see. And like I said earlier, kind of thought that we were setting up a nasty divergence here through this. I would have sworn that there was trouble on the horizon. But 1M, so that sort of stopped the bull. Bull's got to pause, bull's got to pause, bull's got to pause, bull got to pause. There's another M, actually getting a short-term sell signal. It's not through the 50 line, so it's going to be a weak one. And sure enough, that was pretty weak. So there's the second M right in there. So price did come down a bit. On that signal, that's that bar there. We finished there at 48 and a quarter, we'll call it. And yeah, we did get all the way down to what, 46.9. Yeah, not a hell of a big move, but probably actually pretty typical of that sort of second M, but above the 50 line. And then just, oh boy, here we go. Is that the first W that stops the bear? Kind of looks like it. It's messy. Looks like it's also a divergence because you got that tail pointing all the way down there. Then we're starting to make higher highs and higher lows. Don't get in this thing's way. And sure enough, there we go. Woohoo! So 2.618 should have been a bit of resistance. Interesting how that was against that high. As we said, we blasted through that high on pretty powerful move too, right? There was no rejection. Although that was into the end of the retail session, the New York retail session. The only problem here, of course, market's getting awfully overbought. 84 on the RSI. That's pretty darn overbought for a 14-period RSI. Go back and look how often you hit 84, 85 on RSI. It doesn't happen very often. So, we are pretty overbought, but at the same time, too, that's a very, very powerful candle there. So, I guess the way I'm looking at this right now, and of course, no M's. As I had said earlier, probably you got to look at this. And the easiest way for you to trade this, I think, would be to throw on something like a short-term EMA. Let the market come back to it, and then see if you can start hunting long entries off of the EMA tag. So on the the odds are this is probably like going to be a 38.2. And if you were like, say Mr. Day Trader or something, we'll go down to like say a 3-minute. And my hunch is probably going to get something like boobity boo. Boom. Could even go off of that low there. So nice big fat range. Got nice trend line support. Is that a trend line? Did I do that right? Yep. Douche. All right, something like that. Flip this around. Okay. So, ideally, we'd like to see at least 33%. Interesting how that low is 33%. I wonder whether we're going to probably have to set up off of maybe that low. All right, so coming into 33, my hunch is if this thing still is a bull, it's going to hold those lows. Maybe it dips into this candle. I don't know. It's tough to say. But is that a gap? Nope, nice and clean. Remember, that was that big honking candle on the New York close, right? So let's see. My hunch is that that low holds. And my hunch also, too, is that's basically 38.2. So, boom. Yeah. Look at that. Right on the nose. So, that's probably going to hold. I mean, maybe it plays around with these levels, swims after these stops. But my hunch is probably is in and around that area. And so what we really want to do... Oh, jeez. I always flipped around. What we want to do is we want to hunt what is this trend. And actually, you can even see that the trend line's already starting to set up here. So we can go there to there. All right. So something like... This would be interesting. I'll watch this on the site going forward tonight. So where does this low come in? Let's assume that it comes in right around that 33, maybe even a little bit lower. So, trade. There we go. Can we get... I'll be watching, and of course, we'll watch this on the site, something like that. Set up a trend continuation trade. I like that idea. It's going to take some time to develop. I don't think there's a trade there yet. But as I was referencing earlier, right, I think with the break of this high here, we'll be thinking about pullbacks and then how does a setup to get going back on the long side. It might even be like a Wyckoff check kind of thing against this high. If this really is for real, it holds in, and then we turn back up to the upside. If you see RSI M out here, then you know it's done. And you might even drill down and just watch. Yeah, so you can see on the hourly, we're starting to get that first M. So, now the bull is on pause on this 1 hour chart, which makes sense. We're watching for this bot to set up. And if this thing goes and M's out again through the 50 line kind of idea, then you know that, oh boy, this turned into some sort of big honking top and back down we go. But like I said earlier, I don't think that that's the scenario. I mean, who knows? I mean, the market will do any old damn thing at once. But my hunch is that this thing wants to continue higher, so this thing should come in, put in a W or something like that, and we continue on our merry way. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, something like that. Fingers crossed for the bulls.
So I haven't played too much with RSI, but how long can you usually see an RSI kind of stay embedded above that 70 level?
Well, the problem here is that we're at the end of a very, very long bull market. So it's kind of like at the very end of these bull markets, you can, in the education program, we teach you about embeddedness. Yep. And how it gets shorter and shorter and shorter as you get closer and closer and closer to the top. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are we in one of these windows where we're supposed to be embedded? It's a good question. What I would say is you probably want to judge, and I don't know how I'm going to do this because this chart's a mess. So let's just do a new chart. You probably want to do a good old stamp. I'll just go RSI. It would be beneficial to do like almost like a different time frame analysis. to sort of get like a full appreciation for where RSI is now. So it's interesting on the weekly price chart. Actually, RSI is not even overbought, which is scary. I mean, it's interesting how we've been thinking, bear that whole sort of top from back in the spring, eh? And lo and behold, look what's about to happen here. So finally, the RSI is going to try and W out here, which ironically enough, all this does is it actually confirms that, no, we're no longer a bear. So if that W comes in here, then what it really means is that we're actually confirming the trading range. What I think happens is we actually do something like that, which another W comes in, and you can see, look how long this darn thing stayed overbought there. I mean, that was from that level right there, right, the whole way up. So from here all the way up to there.
Yeah, so that's like 4 months.
Yeah, a long period of time, right? November all the way through to February. Yeah, so you're right. I don't, so, I mean, this, we might find that this actually, and you can kind of see, notice, it almost looks to me like this thing's getting stronger. It's building momentum. Because notice that, like, this high was just peeking its head into overbought. And then just peeking its head into overbought. This, oh, you kidding? I'm a goddamn bull. Look at me. Rawr! We almost have to look at this like on a monthly basis. And go, all right, what does that look like? And I actually think that this looks like, I mean, look at that. Son of a bitch, eh? Look at what happens on the monthly basis when this thing goes and W's out. I mean, all hell breaks loose. Look at that. That's all that. Ugh. And the interesting thing is pullback was just that one bar. And then more bull, right? See, there's a nice little break. I can't even see what happened over here, though, so long ago. But, yeah, I mean, geez like whiz, that alone. I mean, I don't know how we're going to finish October. But that alone. It was interesting, Did you watch the Daily Brief with Bobo and Raf today?
I did.
So anybody who watched the Daily Brief today, we got a good old lesson on these long-term charts. Why it's kind of important to pay attention to them. So, did you hear their message about monthly price charts?
I'm not remembering. The thing that I took away the most is really how they were playing around with some really interesting charts that I hadn't really played around with, like doing the 32 ETH and.
Yeah.
So there was some interesting stuff.
That was freaky because Crypto Chico dude goes, if you have 32 Ethereum, you're set for life.
Well, so I think that part is because 32 is what you need to run a full validator node.
Right.
So that's probably what Chico's talking about, because I imagine he's saying that, one, the price will be a lot higher over time, and then two, you can run a validator and make a lot of good yield forever, essentially.
And then, somebody said it's they make about $100 a day now.
For an ETH node?
I don't know. Sure, why not? Sounds good.
Yeah, could be.
Interesting. Good observation. Looking at those Ethereum, sorry. Looking at the text over there on YouTube, somebody says do an ABCD on the monthly charts. I mean, look at that. Remember Kavarkinator? He bought right there. What a son of a bitch, eh? Jesus. Nice trade, Kevin. That should be framed. So look at that. Look at that ABC. And the interesting thing, we were doing this with the level 3s. Because the level 3s now, Derek, I hope you're working your butt off. The level 3s now are deep into harmonics. And now, man, all we're doing is talking alt ABCDs. So alt ABCDs now are painting 106 all the way up to 127. Fascinating. So this would be sort of the bot level. That's the classic AB equals CD. And these are actually valid alt ABCD PRZs, or potential reversal zones. Anyway, so that's what they're doing right now. Wow, that's incredible. And then if we do a foggy boggy, chaos theory says that we go, ooh, yep, 2.618. So I would say there's a very high probability that we're going to head right up here. And then the next one, and this is the one, if we hit this next one, then I get to go buy my son a house and he can live comfortably for the rest of his days. So, fingers crossed, everyone. But let's see, can I do that? There we go. So that's target number 1. I actually can't even see that one. Boom! There we go. And now, target number 2, and this is what I want to get hit. There we go. 198 Gs. I still think, and I remember years ago, somebody said 200 grand was the next cycle peak. I've always thought I like that number, that 200,000. I think it goes to about 220, 230. But that's me. That's what I think. But I definitely think high probability. In fact, this would be, like I say, the alt ABCD targets, especially with that damn W in that RSI. Jesus, that's powerful. Because hopefully what you see is, it's actually kind of cool that we did this tonight. That is such a structurally powerful signal. That's insane. And then notice how basically this is I think you could say this is an RSI Wyckoff check, or an RSI Benkoff check. Oh, that's cool. Very, very bullish. Very bullish. Now, I mean, October is always a funny month, so who knows what the hell. 1929 October looked like a fantastic month right up into the last week.
Yep.
And then, so who knows what this month's going to end like. But I'll tell you, man, I bet you there's a lot of trading desks around the world that see that there, right there, and go, mother, holy bejesus. So, anyway, that was kind of a fun prattle there this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's 20, 30 people watching us. What the hell? Well, what should we do next? Nick? What do you think we should talk about?
I have a couple things I want to bring up, but Millennial Insight actually threw out Alchemix, which is actually very, very similarly spelled to your Alchemist.
Alchemix.
But
What's the symbol?
ALCX.
ALCX.
And probably one of the FTX ones will have a little more history, although I don't think either of them are going to have full history.
Gemini, isn't that a popular place to trade?
It is, but I think Alchemix was just listed a couple months ago on Gemini, so you're not going to get much there at all.
Oh. Boom.
Maybe not monthly, but what I will say,
I always say you start off with the highest time frames.
it did pump really quick after it launched, so like that, it probably only launched a few weeks before that. But if you draw that high-low trend line off the top, or not high-low, sorry, but just draw the highs trend lines on that M, we are at least breaking through that. We obviously don't have an M yet, or a W yet, but it seems like it's actually in an okay location right now.
Yeah, well, you could argue this W here in the RSI sort of stopped the bear for the time being. This thing goes and M's out, then the bear is back. And there is not really much going on here. If anything, it almost looks like the market's just run out of sellers. So I would say probably in the short term, right? We look like, yeah, you can sort of see it. That high and that low. They even did a nice little FU just to wash these lows. Notice the FU is on like almost no volume at all. So they probably went and tried to break some kids' hearts. Anybody's. They're really interesting. Like, there was a potential railroad tracks there, but it never really fired in earnest. So the problem here is this is a really good example where volume impetus will keep you out of trouble. Now, whoever is watching this, right, I just went and bought this. Why did I buy this? Because of that. Boom. So clearly something's going on here. Somebody's buying up a whack of this. So, for your little thing here to tell you that it stopped going down is you got to see some buyers show up here. There's just nobody here. You could do some bottom fishing, little old lady, nanny nibbles. I mean, I suppose you could be doing that the whole way down. I suppose out of the gate, if you were thinking like good old chaos levels. I don't know how well chaos levels work to the downside though. But there's a foggy boggy. Notice how those highs seem to be pretty respective off that level. And there's the next one. You're going to owe them $890, $19 a coin. This is why I don't know whether this really works that well going to the downside, but nonetheless. There is that, and then there's this really big one, so maybe you do something like that. So there's, that's a negative number. I don't think that's useful. So not really much help there. Probably go like chaos levels, or extension levels. Boom, there we go. So this would be my parking garage right in that window. So you can see about 1.618 seems to be also respected. So interesting how this level right in here, 1.618, and that chaos level seems to be a significant pivot point for this thing. So, actually this is a perfect example of that RSI, First W right in here sort of stops the bear, right? And then it went and M'd out. Oh boy, well that stopped the bull. Then, if we M'd out again here, oh boy, new bear, wipe out. But nope, in comes a W, stop the bear. So now we're just sort of wishy-washing, and really whichever way this RSI goes will tell you. So notice how interesting how we came up to that 50 line. If we could back off here, and then really you get two outcomes. We M out here, and then that'll kill that recent bull signal, and so the bears are back in control. And then if we a bigger M out, well, see you later. I don't know whether that happens or not. Probably just this thing's just the bull's dead and it just goes sideways and maybe trades along that trend line. And then of course if you're bullish, what you really want to see is ironically enough, you'd actually like to see this make a new low and take that low out, but the RSI come down and not make a new low. And then the RSI turns back up and heads through that 50 line. If you saw that, that would be a hugely bullish signal. Something like that. Maybe if you're really lucky, you get something like that, and then you actually get like a workable bottom to work with. Anyway, you shake it, this is the time of year when this stuff really should soften. Usually the end of the year is the hardest time for most venture cap. I've noticed, you go back and you look at Ethereum and stuff like that over the years, it loves to bottom around January. And the problem is if it's topping around January, then usually that means it's the end of the cycle. And I think all of these things are topping into the end of January, so be forewarned. So, if anything, you'd kind of like to get this, October. Usually markets are soft in October. Then we get a nice little footing here. Crypto's going absolutely apeshit into January, November, December. You get a nice big fat rally here, and of course you all get rich. Woo-hoo, right? But on this top, if we're going to do that into January, That's probably a sign of the end of the move, not the beginning. Be careful here about buying too much, like especially people that do things like little old lady, nanny nibbles, that kind of stuff. Maybe hold off on reloading in the beginning of the new year. Go and bang out your doubles and stuff, and maybe even convert those winnings into dollars so that you actually have currency to pay the tax bill come the end of next year. See if you can defer these sales into January of 2022, because that's what the smart money's going to do. Then into January, probably like January, February, this is what usually happens. Some sort of big top. I don't know what the hell it's going to look like, right? But what ends up happening here is these things rally, and then people go and they reinvest in other altcoins in January, February. But I think you probably ought to just, and this is just my opinion, it's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be taking profits on these pushes into the new year, and then I won't be reinvesting. I'll just be sitting on the sidelines and hopefully going and buying Liam a house. All right, so I don't know whether that helps, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea of what I'm thinking here.
That's one that I've always kind of had a soft spot for, because the protocol itself is pretty neat. It is a DeFi name, so it's kind of floundering like a lot of DeFi is right now, but they have self-paying loans. And so apparently you can deposit some collateral, take a loan for up to a certain amount of that collateral. And then you're essentially just, with the interest you get, it pays off the principal on that over time. And eventually down the line, a few years down the line, you can get that principal back for free.
Okay.
So it's a pretty neat idea. It just hasn't gotten, I guess, the traction, or maybe it could just be that one of those that the protocol is really neat, but you don't actually need the token to use the protocol. So I'm not sure how much utility there actually is with the token.
Yeah, well, like you said, it came out of the gate great guns. Somebody must have so the price is not coming down because of some scandal?
I don't think there was a scandal. I mean, it came out kind of right in that rip-roaring alt season there through April, or beginning of maybe end of March. But yeah, it just kind of dumped with the market in May and never recovered.
Yeah, this is like a reverse 10x.
It's the 1/10 X.
Yeah, I think we call this an inverse 10x. So this thing came out of the gate and went down 1/10. It's 1/10 what it was. So if anything, you probably something like this, right? You want to, number one, like I said earlier, you really want to see buyers actually come back, right? I just don't. It looks to me like this. We kind of lost interest here. So something must have perked, the community or whatever it was up here. Oh, darn. Then also, too, you have to make sure that these things are colored correctly. Color based on previous close. All right. Yeah. So, there's clearly something going on, some sort of story going on here. Notice how they pushed the market to new highs here, but the volume there was just no follow through volume. So something went wrong here. It looks like they tried to ramp it up again. If you're a fan of this, go and figure out what the fundamental events were around the 2nd of August and then the very end of August, 1st of September. And maybe also, too, like you said, these are some kind of loan mechanism things. Maybe on the month anniversary, there is a big flood of liquidity into the market. There might be something like that going on as well.
That's interesting. Millennial Insight is saying that Alameda, who's one of the big whale groups in crypto, big funds in crypto, they've apparently been farming a lot of tokens because the rewards are at 70% APY, and they apparently just dump all over it. Okay. So they farm a bunch of tokens and just sell them all, and is kind of maybe suppressing the price, although that may not explain all the lack of volume. You would expect
Well,
more.
like I said, maybe this was when a smart contract came due or something, and they just dump. They just
Could
hit
be.
the thing hard. Anyway, so the point here, technically speaking, I don't think there's any reason to get like super uber bullish here. But I mean, it's the only problem with this is like that we had a guy that was used to do videos with Da Vinci, and kind of the same thing is what's cheap. How do you figure out what the hell is cheap? And I remember we did videos back here, and okay, is this cheap? Is this the bottom? Hey, nice run, double your money. Okay, cool. And then, oh shit. Well, like, okay, maybe this is the bottom. Okay, well, reload. And oh shit. Okay, maybe this is the bottom. Oh shit. I mean, the problem here, I mean, I think this looks like a half decent, bottom to take a shot off of. But, when they come out of the gate, I mean, how are you supposed to know where the hell the bottom is until you wait for like that big honking weekly or monthly W? So I remember the Da Vinci, he was excited about that out of the gate. I mean, what is cheap on this thing? I mean, maybe it has to go down to $20. I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's probably best just to wait for like a really, hey, that's a big honking W. There's a floor in this thing before you start going and throwing some serious money at this thing. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Current bid 0.000000000000000001. All right, what do we want to do next? Nick, my man, where are you? You're in the level 2 program right now, right?
I am.
How's with the move and all that? Are you still able to study?
Yep, keeping up. I'm at least getting through all the classes and quiz and kind of the supplementary material.
Have you tricked out your charts yet?
I've tricked out some charts.
Right on.
I've played around with a lot of trend lines, some high lows, some low highs.
Good.
Getting into gap theory this week. What did we do last week? Oh yeah, moving averages.
Oh yeah, well, domino indicator, eh? Did you? That's that, and actually, it's kind of cool because I was even doing that in the futures markets here. I thought I had it on. Yeah, right here. So this is in essence the same thing. This is off what is this? Oh, this is a daily chart. But look at that! What a great analogy, the gold. Look at that beautiful rainbow cross there. Absolutely textbook. And then look at this one here. Look how they all just turned right in unison here. Right off of that big honking double top breakdown. Boom. They all shifted negative. Anyway, so that's what you were doing here recently, eh?
Yeah, and so I haven't had enough time or as much time as I'd like to really practice and start ingraining some of it in my head, but I know I've got the concepts at least.
Yep, good. All right, let's see. Anybody on YouTube, they want us to look at anything in particular? Man, I bought a little bit of that Geo earlier. Wow, what a nice little trade that was. What a treat.
Yeah, so this one just came in from Bill, but this was one of the topics that I just wanted you to give your 2 cents on. I know you kind of have with talking about BTC dominance and that type of stuff, but the ETH BTC chart, because if Bitcoin does end up ripping again, like people are thinking it will, there's a good chance it's just going to destroy a lot of the other alts along the way, or at least, I mean, the alts may still go up, but they might go up just a fraction compared to Bitcoin. So I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts on ETH BTC quick, and then we'll get to some of the other requests.
I mean, I don't know what I can add to this. We'll just look at the levels. BTC. And a lot of the time, oh boy, that doesn't look very good. Ouch. Didn't people say that Ethereum was going to overtake Bitcoin or something recently? I seem to remember something along those lines.
Yeah, that was probably right at the middle of May there where that parabola ended.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think longer term, it definitely has the potential to overtake Bitcoin from a market cap perspective. Obviously, it never will price wise, but
Well, never say never, I suppose. All right, so what do you got here? Looking at a little bit longer term price perspective, I think this level here jumps out at me quite a bit, right in there. So, I suppose the last time this thing was seriously in play, the last time the ETH bulls really had their way was this rally here. So there's probably a bunch of them that were trapped that really wanted to get out. And I think that's basically what that rally gave them the opportunity to do. No real signs of divergence here. Everything's all higher highs. So probably the way that I would look at this right now is this is just a range, top of the range. Bottom of the range, probably off of there. Like that. And my hunch is this is probably like 38.2s. Yep. So pretty normal. I don't think, I suppose you could argue there was a big M that fired. This low here was 553. What does that say? 55332. Old man yells at numbers on the screen. 55332. And then this number here is 55205. So we actually did go through that low. And also, too, that was a clothesline low, right? So if we change this to...
yeah, clothesline was definitely an M.
Right, so you can clearly see it. And what do we call this level right here? Right there. What do we call that?
I don't know what you're looking for.
No? Anybody on YouTube know? What do we call that right there? Since this big M did confirm. See if anybody on YouTube knows. McKinley dynamic. No, not the McKinley dynamic. No one knows? You don't know what I'm looking for? Nick?
No, especially when you're saying because the M confirmed. Or
yeah.
Like with that specific peak. No, I don't got it.
Anyway, we call this the usually what ends up happening is most new people to trading. They go short here, and then they put their stop right here. So we call this the noob stop right there. And the irony of it all is I often would see they'll come up, they'll wash these guys out, they won't go after that high, and then they'll continue on their merry way. So,
which kind of is exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, this is why we call it the noob stop. Is that you're right, and it sucks. Like I hear it all the time. New people to trading, right? They'll go short, but I got stopped out, right? And the market still goes lower. In fact, I even heard Thomas today. He even said it that he was in a trade, got stopped out, but actually it was the right direction. So anyway. I recommend, for people that trade with me that we have our stop above here, and that means having your stop up there. So, And interestingly enough, too, actually, there, can you see the M here? So there's actually the original market top. So this was a big old liquidity pool. That's what this event right there is. It's ding, 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 ding. In fact, one of my favorite Wall Street cartoons. I never could find it, and I always put a challenge out to anybody who can find it. There's this Wall Street fat cat, and he's sitting on a big armchair back, like 100 years ago. And he's got two dancing girls, one on each leg. And they're drinking champagne, and they're just having a great old time. And the caption right underneath it is, and then we went after the stops. So only a trader would understand that joke. So that's what I think happened there. Now, really, this big honking M, it will confirm if we start closing back below here. I mean, you might argue that this was short fishing. They were just fishing to see whether they could get people to go short. And this was a liquidity hunt, stop loss hunt there. So what's my take just in the short term? Clearly the bears got the ball. Lower highs and lower lows. So, that is the prevailing trend as it is right now. You could probably start to conjecture that maybe a pivot will come in if we get down against these lows. Do you see how all of this stuff even works off of these kind of charts? It's remarkable how these concepts are so consistent. Right, you could even say that there's going to be a nice little trend line there to there. Probably shouldn't really take a short until you actually see a market structure signal below this trend line. So my hunch here now as we come down into here, going to play around with the noobs against value high. I think we talked about value high about something earlier, didn't we? I seem to remember we did. So we're asking right now, do we want to be in value? Now, if we just puke out, right, and break through here, this is just like I was talking about with Bitcoin earlier, right? That will change the tone. Then counter trend rallies will be sell signals, right, below the trend line. Failure there, beautiful sell. So right now I would still say we're in a range. We should expect, they say markets range 70 to 80% of the time. So we should expect some games against this trend line. Just kind of screw around with the new traders. A lot of new traders are going to take a trade at that trend line, and they're going to get chopped up. So, what I usually suggest and what I teach people is wait for the market structure signal on the other side. Either wait for the W to come in up top here. Okay, fine, we held. Or wait for the M to come in on the other side. Nope, we're failing and breaking down. But don't take the trade right on the trend line. That's just asking for trouble. So that's what I sort of think we're doing right now. That's Bitcoin friendly and Ethereum unfriendly, right?
Yes, that would be. Can I ask you to do something crazy?
You can always ask.
Go to the weekly chart quick and zoom back out so you kind of have that full picture.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looks like we could have a little bit of a fractal from that 2016 into 2017 that we have going on right now. You have that big peak. You have the M come in. Bitcoin kind of bleeds it out, and then boom.
Well, I do like that idea because Ethereum usually likes to bottom into the end of the year. And notice that was right into the end of the year. I love that. When I see that, you just buy this son of a bitch. Just buy it and buy it hard. Right? That's everything that we teach. Reload zone, original market structure. What do we call this window right in here? What's going on in the marketplace all through here? What is that?
It would be snowing?
No, actually no, because that's October, right?
Wait, I thought it was December.
There's December over here, but what's going
Okay.
on all? And really, the point is, what's going on through all of this? Keep in mind, most of the public, they buy up markets. So what's going on right here into the end of the year?
The institutions are buying.
Maybe, but you have to put your accountant's hat on.
Oh, yeah, taxes. Yeah.
So I mean, you have to understand the mechanics of the market. So when I see that, remember, this is venture capital. This is about as venture capital ever gets. So I see this relentless selling into the end of the year, and then right on the year end, look at that goddamn doji. This is a no-brainer. So, I mean, if we're lucky, that's what we get into the end of the year, which tells you, all right, looks like 2021 or 2022 is going to be Ethereum friendly. Might not be Bitcoin friendly. I don't know what Bitcoin did through this. But holy for holies, Ethereum sure had a good run. So, yeah, I agree to a certain degree. If I understand you correctly, you're saying that this pattern here looks like it's kind of replicating here. So
Yeah, it could be.
So where is the end of the year? So that's into here. Looks a little bit early though, eh?
Yeah, it does.
It looks like this isn't going to bottom until, I hate to say it, it almost looks like into sort of,
Halfway
like
through
if we
next year
just
or so.
go like this, right? I'll go boom, and then right the doji that was the bottom. So there to there. This rally here, so that means if we want that the same, we got to stretch that out. And so that puts your bottom basically 1 year, a little about 1 year from now. Well, a little less than a year from now.
That's true.
So, I don't know. It's interesting how when we do that, notice the price action follows that little trend line too. So if that's the case, then what does that look like? I do like the idea that Bitcoin is going to do well here. Then I don't mind the idea that Ethereum does okay, sort of firms up a bit, and then into the end of the year, well, I guess this would be sort of pretty close here. Well, okay, so what I think this tells me here, if we follow this path, and who knows what the hell we're going to do, but if we do, then Bitcoin enjoys a nice bid here. Then Ethereum's going to have a little bit of a comeback, sort of equalization. Then Bitcoin carries it. Then Ethereum carries it. Then Bitcoin carries it. And then, believe it or not, I hate to say it, I think, maybe we, like I said, remember the beginning of the year I said earlier, this is where you kind of want to sell and don't reinvest. So then that way your capital gains, if you sell here in January 2022, then your capital gains on the transactions are not due until 2023. If you sell here, then your capital gains are due in 2022. Does that make sense? I mean, it's pretty important, especially when markets run up and you're dealing in large capital gains. That can make a big difference. Just do you sell here or do you sell here? So I actually do like the idea that the market starts out relatively okay into the new year and then everything comes off precipitously. But the interesting thing is this would basically imply that Bitcoin will come off to a lesser degree than Ethereum comes off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would read there, especially if we're peaking around the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I feel like that's fair though. That usually happens in a start of a bear, like after your alt season or whatever you've got.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is I could see in 2022. Sorry to interrupt, but I do remember in 2017, 2018, in the spring of that year, that was after February, March. There's Bitcoin futures dad guy was all positive. about Bitcoin, but the altcoins, they just fell right out of bed. And that's what I'm worried about. And if anything, I do like the SEC coming after the unregulated space, the Binances of the world, into that first quarter of 2022. I do like that narrative a lot. And also them coming after the various different stable coins of the world. So. All right, let's see, what time is it? 7:20. So we've been blabbing away here for about an hour and a half. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I have in the description, just FYI, if you watch this later on, we have been, basically the whole reason why I did this was I wanted to get a little booth going in Decentraland for TRI. And I was going to fund it out of the contributions that you guys have given. I was pleased to see you contributed 0.03 Ethereum, two contributions. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. A couple people saw some value in our presentation. So if you did happen to get some value out of anything I've said here tonight, please, we'd love to get that man and booth going, and that's how you can help us out. It's right there in the description of the video. So I thought I'd just mention that before, but I guess that's your shameless shill for the evening. So if you want me to look at something, I can, Nick. If somebody on YouTube wants me to pull up a chart or two and give you my 2 cents, I'll be more than happy.
There was a viewer request early on for the graph, which would be GRT.
GRT. I guess, did I answer this question for you?
No, you did, and that's kind of what I was looking at with my own analysis. Maybe not necessarily that slow bleed out through the summer there, but at least through the end of this year, it seems like Bitcoin is going to more often than not be in charge.
Yeah, well, especially we just got this inside bar confirmed reversal. This is a weekly chart, so until you actually see some sort of candlestick reversal pattern, Bitcoin's carrying the ball here. And I think also too, we see that on this chart, because I think these domination charts, I think they're really just nothing more than either Ethereum or Bitcoin is carrying the day. So I think this chart here, when this W confirmed, it meant that Bitcoin was taken over, right? And that alts are on the back burner. And I feel comfortable that Bitcoin is still in charge. And it will be until this thing M's out. So I don't know when that happens, but I think that basically corroborates what we just talked about off of this chart. So that inside bar reversal, that's probably when that thing W'd. And as long as this thing continues to paint bearish candle patterns here, I don't see any reason to look for anything to change. But we are coming into what looks like some support, so we're probably sort of firm up here a little bit. Right, so yeah, you can see we're probably going to firm up here. So isn't that cool how that all kind of lines up? It's kind of freaky, eh?
I mean, that's still not too bad. You're looking at 6 to 7%. If Bitcoin does get to that 250, you're still looking at about a 15,000 Ethereum.
All right, well, I suppose we can all live with that, eh?
I'd be okay with it.
Okay, so you said the other one was Graph?
Yeah, GRT.
GRT, and where should we look at this?
Binance is fine. They're going to have very similar prices, most of them.
That's cute. What's showing? Is that view up?
Yeah, we talked, just a fundamental reminder. We talked about this one, I think, recently. Actually, Graphene and might have been in one of our last weeks we did in the top 100, but it's essentially like the Google of the blockchain. It's indexing all of that kind of blockchain metadata that other projects can use to be able to function better.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
I think it's a super good use case. I don't own any of the token, but I love that the protocol is there, and I think it's going to continue to be important going forward.
All right. How do you figure out what one of these things is worth?
I imagine it's pretty tough because
How many of these things are there out?
Oh, there's a bunch. Hold on. There's a whole
They're like 70 cents a piece.
There are 5 billion out there.
Wow. So, what is this? Is this how does the network validate itself? Is it proof of work? Is it proof of stake?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm fairly certain it's a POS chain. Don't quote me on that, but that would be my guess, which would mean it'd be a lot tougher to be able to say what an actual value would be.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard Bobo say that Dash has more than half of its coins are all staked up in master nodes. So I suppose, I wonder how this thing would work with their master nodes. Did you say that this thing was POS?
I think it is POS. Yeah, Millennial Insights agreeing with that.
So, I mean, I think I can understand the tulip mania around things like the cyberpunks and stuff like that. I don't know whether this would fall under the same sort of category. I don't think it does.
I'd agree. I don't think it does either.
Is it? Did you say that this thing was with DeFi and all that kind of fun stuff?
It's related to DeFi. It's essentially, it enables a lot of DeFi protocols to do what they do easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to invest in an idea? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. How do you figure out what a value of one of these things is? I mean, and the problem is for some reason in this space, the old data just gets wiped out and you can't make reference to it after a while. But there's ADA. I remember when it came out. And, you go to these sites and you just can't even get the old data. That's funny. I would have thought that it was on... I just don't know where to find these things that have that. If anything, I want to find a Poloniex quote. 'Cause Kraken, it's been around there a while, maybe. Yeah, okay, this is what you need to see. So, I don't know. Is your idea like this? And you're coming to me and saying, Brian, no, it looks cheap, And then you have to sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait, and years go by. And yeah, you're right. Well, gee whiz, turns out it is an awesome idea. So, could this be that kind of scenario where could be a great idea, but... you just don't know, And if I understand correctly, the ADA is kind of that same sort of, POS, tons of coins out. Got to have a good development team, all that kind of stuff. If you believe in the developer story, I suppose so. And it's interesting that this thing opened up at this level down here, 3 cents, and just went screaming straight up. So, we are at the end of whatever that initial, is this an IDO? Is that what they're calling it nowadays? I don't know.
Yeah, usually IDO.
Yeah, so, I mean, technically speaking, I don't think I think to be fair with you, I don't have enough data to really give you an informed decision technically on this. I mean, but I would just simply say bottom of the range, top end of the range, Obviously, there's structure here at the bottom end of the range. Can't really justify the short until you get market structure below this trend line. So if you want to come in and look to buy against this trend line support and maybe risk down against these lows here, I mean, it's not a terrible risk. Is this a quote unquote buy here today? Oh my God, I got to go buy this thing right now. It's not really. I mean, if anything, what this looks like to me, David O would probably like this. This kind of looks like boom, 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 boom. So, ideally, on the head and shoulders, you'd like to see a momentum divergence on shoulder to head. You do have that, so that's encouraging. Willie did go stupid. So, maybe if you hunted like, I don't know, like a nice little entry somehow to sneak your way in. I always like 3 higher lows, so you got 1 low, 2 lows. We have broken that downtrend line. So, what this kind of says to me is, your head to your neckline. That if we break out through the neckline, we should replicate this range above, right? That's the head and shoulders objective. If we bought this up, this might be a way for you to sneak in on a trade here if you really want to trade this thing. 33, no more than 66. Now you can see we're on the other side of the trend line. The rule, of course, is gotta wait for a W on the other side of the trend line. And if we get that 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, rock and roll. So, bot levels, if I was going to trade this, there to there, there to there, there to there. Hey, look at that. I'm getting pretty good at eyeballing that, eh? Look at that. My W comes in perfectly off the 25 level. So, I don't know. If you can get something along those lines, then maybe you might get a trade out of this. And that would take you up into this level. And then, like I said, if this really is a massive head and shoulders, pivot, fractal bottom, blah, 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 what should happen is you should go boom, 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 up to boom, boom, up there. So, take maybe partial profits there, move your stop to scratch if you want. See if you can take maybe a bit more profit up top here. You can do things like foggy boggies.
What was the alt levels? Was 16181 or what?
Oh, alt A, B, C, Ds?
Yeah. It looks like that maybe be around a 1618 or something.
Yeah. Good eye. So we'll throw that on there. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
That's always funny when I see that. All right, and then you want your alt A, B, C, Ds. Should be 1.618 to 1.272. Oh, look at that. Now, have you ever heard me use the term confluence?
Yes, many, many times.
That, to me, looks like confluence. 2.618, 1.618, and the head and shoulders objective. All, and look at that. There's even a nice little notch right on the profile up there. In fact, somebody in the level 3 class, we were reviewing level 2 material in our group tutorial today. What the hell's the damn icons? Here we are. That right there looks like a muak. And actually also too, notice, what do we call this actually? Have you guys done volume profile yet?
No, unfortunately not. And
right.
Actually,
so you're going to learn
soon.
this. If we are outside of value, which is what this is, and then we accept back into value, which is what this is, and you can see, if we W out here on the 25 line, that would be accepting back into value. There's going to be a hell of a fight here, eh? Holy moly, look at all that huge hole. But what's the percentage of the time that we go back up and we tag value high there?
I mean, I think is that 80?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just know that because we've went through that a lot over the weeks, but I haven't learned it yet.
Yeah. 80%. That's a pretty damn big number. So, that's the definition of edge if I've ever heard of one. So, look at that, eh? One. And then, what do you think the odds are that all of this is in a reload zone of this entire range? I mean, it gets ridiculous how cliche this shit is after a while. So there, and we go reload zone.
It's going to be right at the 786.
Look at that,
pretty
eh?
Much.
It's incredible how this stuff all starts lining up after a while, eh? Yeah. There you go. So it's all predicated on whether a nice market structure signal comes in down here. So, anybody who's watching this and going, this is where I need to learn how to trade, what you want to do is you want to go through this whole process right now, and all you're doing is just sort of setting up what can things look like. And of course, ideally we want location, indicator confirmation. So maybe at this point we start pulling up things like indicators and asking if we're making higher lows and higher highs on the indicators. And then as pointed out here, a really good example of trendline breaks, what we really want to see is structure. And if structure can develop and what this will be, if this W can come in here, it's basically going to be that the market is accepting the POC as fair value. So if the W comes in, we jump up, then the market's probably going to use the POC as support going forward, right? If we can move away, then what ends up happening is, down the road, kind of think of that Wyckoff markup process. Public comes in, buys the top, right? Institutions are selling. Then the public's caught, of course, and then they start panic dumping. Market pulls back, Wyckoff check into the original bottom, checking the POC where everybody's actually long on the street. The market wants to stay in the bull, so it finds support right off of the original sort of point of control. That's what this is called. So, put it all together, I think at least now you can approach this like, all right, let's see if the W develops. And it might take, the next 24 hours to develop. Just be patient and disciplined. You got all your levels all drawn up. You got pretty damn good price objectives. And you're just going to wait for this thing to develop. Yeah, this will be a really good one to watch over the next day or two on the site. See what happens. That's kind of cool. What do you think, Nick? Was it worth slapping yourself every few minutes to keep yourself awake tonight?
Always. Like I said, I'll always be here if you're here. It's a rough week for me like it was for you last week.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what time is it? It's about 20 to the top of the hour. Do we have room for one more, or what do you think we should do? Should we call it a night?
We can do one more.
All right. What else should we look at?
The next one, I'm just going in order on this list. The next one was FTT.
All right, FTT.
So just to let people know, next week, just come in here and just say hi, and then just start spamming the tickers. That's how you're gonna get your coin looked at. Because I just go from the top and come down. Do it on FTX. So just kind of one of those top few.
This one?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right. Ah, yuck. You know what this is? I hate to say it, but oh no, we're getting into trouble. Can't do that, can we?
It looked like an ABCD might have almost hit there.
Well, yeah, probably this is a bot, and you're like 90% of the way through the trade. And this is where most new people to trading get destroyed, right? As they come in halfway through. Just buying that right there, that's a total coin toss. Total coin toss. So, what I would say is, probably something like that. Yeah, actually, it looks like it hit. So now this trade's over. Yeah. So actually, look at that, eh? So whoever asked for this, what you have to learn is, don't, for God's sakes, don't chase. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Yeah, signal was right there. Coming into it here, this is where, actually it's funny, one of the level 3ers even asked today, can you explain all these terms? Because I was sharing my old trading plan from my old prop days, and one of the terms on the sheet was AOCO, which stands for automatically order cancels order. So if I did buy this, and I was trading the way I traded when I was funded, literally the moment that this order would be filled, a stop loss order goes in one tick below this low, and then a sell order goes in one tick below that high, or that level there. 84.25.9, so let's say 84, I don't know, 84.20 or something. So long, move stop to scratch, market waffles a little bit, then continues, move stop to trailing, market waffles a little bit, boom, target hit, order is filled, all other orders are canceled on the DOM. Game over. You win. This is actually an interesting analogy of a trader's life, because right at this point right here, I can absolutely guarantee you, everybody in the public, anybody on social media, any new people you're talking to in trading, they are thinking one direction here and one direction only. Straight up. Moon! And having the balls to have that order working there, usually you get filled right into the euphoria. So, perfect example of that. And then she just melts away. There's nothing to do here now. It would be hurry up and just cool your jets. So, it's a pretty easy answer.
I will say, over the course of 22, 23, whenever it looks like we're getting those weekly bottoms into weekly W's, this is one of the coins I'm going to be loading up on, 100%.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that.
I think so. Sam Bankman-Fried is kind of the wunderkind of FTX, and he is going about things in just the most brilliant way. He's getting tons of public interest in his exchange. He's doing it in as regulatory compliant way as possible. I can't bet against him. And so, yeah, like obviously I'm not buying any here, but if this thing really gets down there in the bear, I'm going to load up.
Well, let's see. Right now, my hunch is your buying window is probably against the original bot level. So let's see. Survey says. Boom. Yep. So my hunch is, ironically enough, the ultimate low is actually a wash of these original stops. That's probably where your low is going to be. Well, we'll see. Only time will tell. And, I mean, I'm not even saying that this bull's done. I mean, this thing, kind of like this. If you start to see this kind of structural behavior out of here, well, maybe it's worth taking a shot. What I would just simply say is this was a profit objective. So a guy like me, I'd want to be getting out here and then just letting the dust settle. So,
sure, Brian, you did a chart in 5 minutes.
Yeah, imagine that. Okay, I feel talked out, so I think we'll probably leave it at that for tonight. I hope you guys all enjoyed the offering. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, ring Colleen's bell, the whole thing. Thank you so much, Nick, for your participation tonight. Get well, Derek and family, and Ben, get off your fucking ass. I don't know what it is about Ben. Ben's my punching bag. I'm sorry, dude. My apologies.
Yeah, you got him into the school program now, so
Yeah, damn straight.
Anything goes.
Yeah. Get to work, damn it. All right. Okay, and it's good that maybe we just get a little bit more consistency in the weeks coming ahead. It's going to be a wild ride into this peak. There's no doubt about that. We got lots of people in the new school term education program. So not only is the Sunday program should be good for you as a dovetail for whatever particular week it is that we're working on. But now this Wednesday class, I told everybody on the site, and I understand I was a bit MIA through my particular move. But I told everybody on the site, let's use this Wednesday night broadcast as well, just to sharpen our pencils, make sure we're watching everything on the go. So and hopefully we'll have the full crew in next weekend. So I guess next week. So all right, thank you, Nick. Really appreciate it. Have yourselves a great. Sorry.
I said always. I'll always be here.
Awesome. Have yourselves a great week. Of course, I'll see you on the site, Nick, and you YouTubers. Of course, you're more than welcome to come try our 30-day trial at TRI as well. Hope I was of some benefit TA-wise. I think I gave you a couple half-decent levels to think about on the corn here tonight. And we looked at a few names. And also, too, I was able to gloat. I tell you, man, if this Geo pulls back and does a Wyckoff check here, I'd do yourself a favor and pick some of this up. But I'm slightly biased for these guys. Where is he now? 45. Oh, nice move. Look at that. Oh, we're going to get a volume breakout here, too. 27, 25. Ooh. Oh, keep an eye on this thing if it does another 2,000 coins. And that's not even that many coins, man. Oh, I tell you, this thing could go absolutely nuts here. So that's cool.
I might be looking for some buying. I've been doing I just pulled a 30Xer.
30X? Wow, good for you. Awesome.
So I've been taking some profit. I might need to put it somewhere else soon.
I don't know. This Geo, it's weird. Like, if you can't do Trex, then you can't really do these ones. It's so bizarre. You could probably buy it on the Ubic chain, though. So you're super smart. See if you can sneak your way onto the Ubic chain and buy that. Also, too, Mona. I've noticed Mona's is perking up here nicely, too. Do you see that W that's trying to form here? So, look at that momentum divergence in Mona as well. Something's brewing here. So, that looks good, too. So. All right, tout. I don't really care whether you buy or sell any of the stuff that I buy or sell. Of course, consult your financial advisors if you are going to do anything in size here in the market. And if anything, everybody, next year or two in crypto, I would definitely say watch your P's and Q's, pay your taxes, file everything online, do exactly like Big Brother tells you, or you could get yourself into a bit of hot water. So be careful, everyone. Okay, with that said, have yourselves a great evening. All the best. Nick, if you want to take us on out of here, give us a big New Mexican farewell. The only thing left for TRI to say is...
Bye for now.